Before the GDCP course started, I was a senior undergraduate student in oil painting at Strand University. I have received training in oil painting as well as other drawing technique and medium from a wide range of classes at university. From courses such as life drawing, I have sharpened my essential skills in capturing the dynamic of the subject. At that time, however, I rarely thought about why I did it. I always focused on the painting technique rather than the thought. In the first 2 years of university, I followed tutors' arrangement to sketch in classes to develop my techniques and rarely did creative. I usually sketched in the studio, sometimes in the mountains. However, I would like to open to new attempts out of my traditional learning. Therefore, during a painting tour in Tibet, I intentionally used paired color and large blocks to create flatness when drawing the landscape. This was different from my tutor's instruction, but the final product was impressive, and I received a good mark for this assignment. After that, I have no longer satisfied with no-purpose drawing. I began to think more about social issue and thought that everything could be explored and discussed. For instance, in my graduation project, I discussed the development of genetic engineering by creating some striking or quirky creatures that the audience have never imagined before. These works were made in Photoshop, but I was not good at digital painting at that time. If I do this project again, I will use digital painting to draw a large illustration to create an interconnect and more storytelling world, rather than each individual, so that when the audience see my work, they will not only seriously think about it, but also find fun. Illustrations help me better present information in a way that doesn't work as well with oil painting. I thought images generated in a more innovative way could have access to a wider audience in our modern society with more effective communication than before. Therefore, I decided to switch my focus to illustration. Another reason for learning GDCP was that I found many painting-related works need to proficient in digital painting, so I want to practice efficient and useful digital painting in this process. Just like the reason why I studied illustration, what I want to do now is communicate effectively with people through my works. I think that art is for communicating ideas. The ideas communicated by art require a reflection of that art in a person perceiving the art, and the point of the art is to evoke that reflection. I regard illustration as an interpretation of my reflection in a special language. I believe illustration is more stimulating and effective in storytelling than any other language. Meanwhile, I want to be an active thinker in social issues and believe that there is no right or wrong in the world, and everything is worth hearing and discussing. I hope that people can reflect and discuss some neglected issue from my illustrations. About the role of professional artists in society, every artist plays a different and necessary part in contributing to the overall health development, and well-being of our society. Creative thinker and maker provide their communicates with joy, interaction, and inspiration, but they also give thoughtful critique to our political, economic, and social system, pushing communities to engage thoughtfully and make steps towards social progress. I explore the different issues in each different project, so what I value most is whether the audience I want to communicate with accepts my work. If they resonate with my work or start to think about the issue discussed in my work, then my work is successful, and this kind of communication is why I want to be an illustrator. The Whtgddfm has been my first experience completely centered around the illustration. I was able to re-explore basic concepts such as the creative methods, observation, and target audience. In the process of this program, I gradually realized that the real impact of good and strong research on the final creative outcome. The process we followed made me understand how important and difficult our work as illustrators is, and it has to be. We cannot find the solutions directly before exploring complex concepts. Meanwhile, I have opportunities to get good ideas and feedback from peers that have different backgrounds and cultures to improve my own process. By comparing myself to my peers, I was able to experience what my strengths and weaknesses were. I realized that I lacked imagination, so that I had to collect a lot of visual research to draw my works. On the contrary, I have good logic and could easily organize the whole project. As for further development, I rarely try to use different materials, which is what I think I like. I need to try more materials in the future. During this program, I did some meaningful and useful projects. From the word project, I drew a myth to express life. With the stitchings from my tutor and peers, I added the label of Samaritans, which is a unique charity dedicated to reducing feelings of isolation and disconnection that can lead to suicide. They bring hope to life. I sent my design to them, and thanks for this moment of their listening that can protect and even save lives. I could feel that I was very close to the audience at that time. From the alter ego project, I created an identity that was not myself and designed from that perspective. This reminded me as a designer needs to be concentrated on the understanding the culture, interests, and the needs of my target audience. I also realized that having the ability to understand and share the feelings of others is an essential feature to have as a designer. The project I found most interesting was the capstone project. This exercise gives us the freedom of setting our own rules. Even though this might seem easy, it's extremely complex. At the same time, it is a perfect opportunity to see how far we can go. I choose the homeless pet owner as the target audience. I can easily find a lot of visual research to avoid my weakness. In the process of the capstone project, I have been trapped in the visual language. At first, I realized that my painting was too tense and not relaxed enough. probably because that stage was more relevant to the final outcome and I could not relax with that. Therefore, I kept exploring my visual language by researching artists recommended by my tutor. I tried to relax, not to modify, but to draw quickly and enjoy the process of painting. The effect was good. In fact, I rarely paint relaxedly like that. Most of the time, the line of my works was straight and the colors must be flat. I always thought I couldn't draw it well, but after this exploring, I felt good. At least I have an improvement in visual language experiments. My personal aspiration is to become an illustrator with a strong voice and distinct style. As for my dream project, I hope it could make a lot of people to reflect and resonate. At least in specific groups, these works could communicate well with them. In the future, I plan to study printmaking. In the past year, I have been practicing my digital painting, and I want to do more printmaking works in the future because many of my favorite illustrators' work were made through printmaking. And also, I wish to become an illustrator who is equipped with all-round skills. I will constantly tap my own potential and see how far I can go.